Hi Ewan, thanks for joining. We're just running some automation after I've redone a bit of the track. And I've done the the overbridge now. So the road bridge over the railway is now getting there. We've got some brickwork on it. How are you today? And what have you been up to? Happy birthday. I hope you got something nice. What's going on up here? Oh. That one gets caught on the points every now and then. Hello John, how are you? Let's have some more light, shall we? Ah, Sunday. Yeah, we just started here, John. So we're just running under some automation again. I've redone a bit of track up the end. The other end on the slow line. Because the super elevation wasn't quite right. Everything would traverse it, apart from the pacers. And it was right in front of the branch line where it had all gone wrong. So I had to redo that, otherwise I had nowhere for the pacer to run. John, dare me to run manually. Oh my gosh, we would have absolute mayhem.
Sorry,
oh. Even Alexa doesn't know that, apparently. Alexa's talking to us now.
According to Wikipedia, speech is human vocal communication using language. Each language uses phonetic combinations of vowel and consonant
Alexa,
sounds between the...
stop. Thank you. If I tried to run this manually, we'd have a Hatfield. Yeah, I saw that and I thought John might be picking one of them up. I'd say John is. I've been thinking about it. Now here comes this Arriva 150. I rebuilt that today. Before it used to be really noisy, now it's dead silent again. And much more reliable now. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one of those flying bananas. Depends whether they're still for pre-order by the time I got some more money. Ah, John's got one already. So there you go. No, I'm very, very tempted to have one of them. Oh, YouTube tells me I've got no one in it. I don't think that's right. John says, I did buy a Rails Terrier, was impressed with it. Put it on the track and it was appalling. Got to get a replacement. I've had the same thing with a Pacer. To be fair now, I had to send mine back to Hatton's twice. It works now though. Ah, brilliant, John. Thanks for that. Nice little group tonight. I don't think they've made a Terrier in Engage yet. It'd be interesting to see someone try and make that DCC. There we go, let's make you guys a bit lower so you can see the super elevation, why not? You're all on a tripod tonight. Yeah, very select audience. They have. I might have to have a look into that just for the novelty of it. There we go, we can pretend to be Rachel now. Spotting the trains. Oh look, here comes our steamer. Our steam special. Oh, looks like I've got a bit of a traffic jam. Let's go have a look at what's jammed up. Ooh, why are we all jammed up? Ah, I see. My pacer got stuck. Coming now. Thanks, Ewan. Appreciate it. We're getting there slowly. Ewan, the Dapol pacer, as you've just seen there go by. Sometimes it's alright, most of the time it's not. It is very, very, very finicky. Incredibly finicky. It always wants to derail because I've got the super elevated corners. So I've had to redo some of my super elevation to get it to work properly, but it works now. think I've had the same pacer that's had the problem over and over again though. It was bad before, it used to blow its decoders and they just get stuck everywhere for me. But it works well now, so no complaints. I'd say get one. If you're not happy with it, you can always take it back. If you say the performance isn't as good as you expected, then that'll be fine. I was trying to get down here with a tripod now. No space. They look alright in multiple. Sometimes I have mine going along together. And they look fairly good. So this, where that first Great Western's going over, that's the track I've relayed. So I had the heater on it earlier on, you know, the electric one. One of these to dry the ballast a bit quicker. Seems to have worked. But now stuff runs over it a lot nicer. Well, here comes our Premier train coming in across the junction. And behind it is our pacer, and I had to do that corner again because of the pacer, but now it runs over it fine. Ewan says you're making the trip to Harbour and Hobbies tomorrow. Need to spend your birthday money. Absolutely right. To be fair, my birthday is at the beginning of November, so usually I'm spending all my money at Worley. But unfortunately not this year. Thanks Ewan, appreciate it. Hi Anthony, how's things? I got all the great YouTubers in today. Ewan, John and Anthony. So Anthony, I was just saying that the slow up line, oh sorry, is that the slow down line, sorry, so that's the very inside one. I've actually relayed to make it smoother so more stock can get around it. Hello Donegal Dad. Hello from Waterford. So as you can see now, I hope I'm not jinxing it, but the automation running like very nicely. Everything just going round the way it should. I didn't know you were live streaming actually, Anthony. I'm impressed if you are. That's brilliant. Hey, actually, I must have a look at those videos. If there's any garden videos, that's brilliant. So I've opened up pretty much every loco that's here now. And that Dapol one, that Voyager, is the loudest one I got. It's one of the first ones Dapol ever made. So, I guess I was asking for that. You're being cool. Oh, here comes your steamer again. So iTrain lets you pick how often a train runs. So for a steam special, this is only going around once every 6-7 minutes. Hello, Human City Junction. Now my Farish Voyagers really run quick. They really do. I've only got one here at the moment, the cross country, but that one actually had a bit of a turn of speed. You can do a scale speed 140, so. Human City Junction says, I really need to watch your video on your iTrain solution. Well, hold out for tomorrow, because I've got a video that specifically explains how it works. I got that scheduled for tomorrow at 8 GMT. So you'll pick that up maybe about 2 o'clock our time, so that'll be 9 your time, I think. I think you're in the US. Oh, I didn't spot Heather come in. I don't actually know who Heather is, but I'll be honest with you, I do apologise. There goes our new Revolution set with our DRS Mark II on the back. I picked that one up second hand a couple of weeks ago now. See, I'm using, well actually, I'm happy with the decoder in that loco. I'm using the DCC Concepts Zen decoder. It's okay, but it's not a great decoder. Oh, that's it, Heath, yeah. I was wondering, I have never seen a Heather in this room before. Must be a new person. Yeah, no, my, as I say, Farish Voyager's on a DCC Concept Zen decoder. The decoders are not great, if I'm honest. I rate them about as good as the Lay's ones, the DCC Lay's DCC even, and they're the cheapest ones you can get. So. There we go, point the light down this way a bit better. Maybe he should ever on the weekends. That's brilliant. John, I think I'd prefer those Zimmos, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, it could be the CVs on those. I've got a few Zimmo. Well, actually saying that, my Pacers will only do 50 mile an hour scale speed, and that's on Zimmo. So maybe it could be to do with the Zimmo decoders. Everything's gone quiet now. Everything decided to stop at once. I think the best decoders I have used though are the Zimmo ones, especially as they have the Railcon. I make use of the Railcon quite a lot. In fact, Human City Junction, if your block detection that you have uses Railcon, try and get the decoders to match it, because when you put a train on the track, it will tell the software where it is. But if you don't have Railcon, then you have to tell the software where it is. Human City Junction, the new decoders they're releasing now are £20 each. So what's that? $28, $25, $28 each. I don't know if it's expensive in the US, but for us it's quite cheap. There's a lot of decoders over here that range between £30 and £35, you see. Ah yeah, no Railcon in that case. Saying that, if in your fiddle yard you put in just one 5088 RC block detection system, that will do it. You only need to have the one. As long as you place the trains on that section, they'll automatically register, if it helps. No, Zimmo are fairly cheap. They never used to be, but they are now, and they're still fairly good too. It's Lens that used to be the good ones, but they're not as good now. They're still reliable and all. In fact, I have a couple on order because they were the smallest ones I could find to fit in my class 67 set. Sam the Transport Fan says I made it 113 subscribers today. In that case, if there's anybody in here that hasn't subscribed to Sam the Transport Fan's channel, go take a look, see if you like it, and hit that subscribe button. See if we can get into at least 215. There's only a few of us in here. my subs, I've been hovering around the 750 to 780 mark for quite some time now. But we're slowly getting there. That will soon go up, Sam. You'd be surprised. Let's give you guys a change of view. Yeah, lens used to be good. I'm not so sure of that anymore. Let's move that light. You're all getting blinded by that light, aren't you? Hopefully that's a bit better. No, still getting blinded. Let's see how that looks. Oh, it's still getting blinded. Back we go. There you are. See you later, Anthony. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you soon. Whoopsie daisy, there we go. Got more depth on the camera now. Yeah. I don't usually stream this late at night, so it's probably my fault there. Now everything's stopped because we're waiting for this one to come out, and it can't. Let's have a look on the computer and see why. Shouldn't have stopped. That should be on its way out, so in a moment. Probably waiting for this one to cross. Yeah, John. I know how that is. So if you're new to the channel, people that have just joined us, have been a load join us just there. We're currently running under automation, and I have a selection of trains running. After we, there goes Alexa again. After I reballasted some of the tracks so I could change the elevation a bit for more reliability. let's go to the platform, shall we? Yeah, John's even lost some in the posts, some of the wagons and that. He's had no luck at all. Anyway, that's what I've been up to today. I bricked the bridge over the tracks, and I put the bricks and the wall down the side of the ramp down towards the platform. Yeah, I look forward to that, Ewan, when John brings out his next video. I appreciate your modelling, John. A lot of I use a lot of your how do I put it? Not techniques, but the inspiration off of your layout. So I'm gonna move that Premiere train. So I think that's causing us some issues. There we are, that's that Premiere train off out the way. Yeah, John's modelling is fantastic. I find it amazing. How do I explain this? How you get things to look so real and so good out of things that are so basic. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a brilliant way. Yeah, I look forward to that 3D printing video. That would be ideal for me in Ireland, because the postage costs for things are so high I could just print stuff. But I'm too scared to go into it. That looks even more difficult, the 3D printing, than actually setting up the automation. There we go, I was right. That Premiere train was holding everything up. John, I used to work on the railway years ago on the West Coast Main Line between, where did I work? From Queen's Park up to, where did I go? The stop before Watford Junction. On the London Overground. I used to work on that, so my track alignment comes from just stuff that I've watched and observed from there myself. Oh, it's all gone silent again. Oh, I see the problem. We've had a crash up the back. Oh dear. What happened? There we go, I fixed that. My pacer had overshot the junction by maybe half a centimetre, and it had lifted another train off of the track, so I just amended the software. That shouldn't happen again. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that, John. John said it's easy to 3D print. I'll see in the video. I look forward to that. My Pacer and my this one here, the 150, it had a silent little accident behind the laptop screen where I couldn't see them, so it had a quiet conversion. So here comes that Pacer. It's actually stopped out a shot. So guys, I got a load of you in here now. What's everybody else doing on the modelling front? What you got planned? What were you doing today? Time for a new angle. Let's have a look somewhere else, shall we? I wonder if we can get a nice shot down the fiddle yard if I put the camera up high. We'll get the legs back out again. Whoopsie daisy, there's a nice shot of the advert there. Let's move you all around. Maybe we'll get a nice shot down here. Everybody's gone live all at the same time. Oh dear. There we go, guys. You can have a nose at the automation, how it's all working behind the scenes here. Oh wow, I just realised I can make the camera go up in the air. Oh wow. I've got a little windy thing on the side of it. Oh cool. Ewan, that's brilliant. There we are, that's as high as my little windy thing goes. And have a look at the junction, have a look at all the points just going off. Ah, they won't stay at my screen. It's a good stream, but Rachel's is better. John says he's printing a platform truck at the moment. Going to be beaten, battered and abandoned. I like it. Donegal Dad says he has to paint the front room before he's allowed to build anything. That's not fair. My front room is a layout, a model room. I must do something about that short rake. When those sleeper coaches come out from whoever's producing those Dapol, I'm going to have to get some for that 57. It looks a bit lonely, doesn't it, with just the one. Oh yeah, I forget. Hit the like button if you're enjoying it. If you're not, hit the dislike button. It's all good. Untitled Dad. You got a new subscriber from me. I hadn't realised I wasn't subscribed. Now I am. Much better. I shall be keeping track because I have that old bell icon button press. There we are. I didn't know you could go this high. Let's pop you round and watch the curve, shall we? Ready? Yep. I've got a box of old wagony stuff underneath. There you are. Have a look at the kitchen as well while you're at it. There we go. It's like looking from the town, isn't it? There you are. The thing my town is missing is people so far. But none of it's all glued down yet, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do in town scene yet. Let's see. I need a load more cars, like an absolute ton of cars for this layout. I put all the roads down, then realised later I need loads of cars to go with them now. Thanks, Chronicle Dad, I think. That's brilliant. Take care, John. Thanks for joining. Yes, I noticed that actually. There's a few issues sometimes every now and then in the chat, but they always get swiftly dealt with. But then that's what you get when you have massive, massive streams. And power to her. Yep, so I have ta-da! Carlsberg don't make layouts, but if they did, this would probably be the best layout in the world. Yeah. Chat to you later, John. Thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it. Where's yours? Well, actually, yours is in the fridge if you want to come get it. You're more than welcome. There we go. I think we've ironed out all the issues from where I was playing with the track earlier, so it should run like this now for hours, hopefully. Oh, train's waiting for a platform. I've changed that London Midlands 350. I had it set to stop every time, but now I have it to set to stop every 1 in 4 times that it goes past the platform. So it's more like a limited stop service, and then the HST stop every 1 in 10 times. Then all the rest of the trains stop. New junction, hello! We're running under automation at the moment. How are you, Richard, this evening? I showed you a bit more of the fiddle yard. Whose gear do I use, Richard? Well, I'm using a DR5000 as the command station. The reason for that is because it's very versatile. I can plug in pretty much anything to that. I'm not stuck to one company's equipment, he says. Then he's used DR5088RC block detection units. They're from DigiKeys as well. The RC on the end stands for Railcon. So all of the DCC decoders that feature Railcon, they feed back a bit more information to the computer. And when I place a train down on the layout, it knows exactly where I put it without me having to tell it where I put it, which is very handy. We are using iTrain software. I think iTrain software, out of the 2 paid for applications, gives you more bang for your buck. We're using iTrain 5 Professional now. I could have gone for Train Controller, but the support wasn't there really. And it was too expensive for what it did. I think as a consumer piece of software, iTrain fit the bill better. So we're using that set of hardware. For my points, it's basic Pico SL10Es. And for my point decoders, most of them are DCC Concepts ADS 8 SX and the 2 SX units. Now they weren't without fault. I had a few capacitors that went dead on them, so I had dead outputs on a couple of them. And I've got some Train Tech point decoders. The Train Tech ones are incredibly reliable, much more reliable than DCC Concepts ones, but they're not as powerful. So they don't throw as reliably mechanically, but they always fire. New junction, Richard says, forgive me if you said already, what operations does the system do on your layout? So it depends what you want. It will do pretty much anything. That's a massive list to start off. Where would I start? At the moment, we're running on semi-automation where trains pick their own routes, and semi-routed, so I've actually made waypoints on routes for certain trains, and you can go anywhere in between that as well. So you can have everything on automation where everything picks its own route, or you can have trains, you can set places where they're allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go, and keep it on automation so they will still select their own routes within a certain area. That's handy if you got like myself, I got the fast lines and then the slow lines, so the all of the local trains, the 142s, the 150s, the 156s, all of that won't come off of the slow lines or the branch line. They physically can't do it. My HSTs cannot come off of the fast lines. They are stuck to those, cannot come off of that. And then I have something called regional trains, which can do anything on the layout. So that's things like my 350, my 220, my 221, and my Premier train, the 67 Welsh set over there. Oh, sorry. That can go anywhere. My freight can't go down the branch line, but my freight's allowed on anything else without turning around. And iTrain works all that out for me. In fact, I'll show you the iTrain screen to give you a better idea. So mine's currently running over the home network right now. If I lower you down and bring you over here, you'll see what I mean, how it works. Oh, you're wonky. There you go. So the way it works is, let's pick a train. See this? This is my 150, the first Great Western. You can see it's going along. It's lit up the little red dots. That's the feedback telling iTrain where it is. Just there's another one. And it's now stopped. You can see this is the speed here. Once that blue bit's gone, it stops. And then it's got a timer, and that counts down to when it goes again. If I open this up, it will tell you how long it's scheduled to stop for and how long it has stopped for. Now that'll pull away in a moment when that's gone. There you go. And the yellow is a reserved route, and you'll see the points up here. They've got padlocks next to them. They're now locked. I can't change those manually, so if I'm running a train manually, in theory I can't derail anything else. And most of the time, about 99% of the time, that's true. Now, with the Railcon, this pacer here has Railcon decoder. You can see in the feedbacks it's actually feeding back the decoder number. So it gives iTrain even more accuracy how to run that one. And then there's another one there with a Railcon decoder in as well. But the feedback number is actually hidden underneath the block number, block writing. But when that train comes out, you'd see it. But it's running it just like an automatic signal box does. Like on the railway where you get the track circuits. And it just tells the signalman where the train is in the block, and then the automatic system routes it and whatever. This all works the same way. And everything's gone silent again. As you can see, everything has stopped. Now we've got a problem that's happened here. Do you see my outside? This happens every now and then, and I haven't quite figured out why yet. But the first Great Western HST has left a trail of feedback, so we're going to get rid of those. If I click on them holding the shift, it gets rid of a load of them, see? There we go. Oh, I see why. Because it's actually overran into that feedback. That happens every now and then. When your motors start to warm up, they go a little bit faster. There we go. That should be that fixed. I'll drag that where it actually is. Set. And go. But now that's all running properly again. I'll bring you guys back to the fiddle yard so you can have a look at what it all does again. And I'll lift the camera up again. Whee! Ewan says, absolutely amazing bit of kit. I appreciate that. Thank you. It is when it works. It's a lot of work, but it is worth it in the end. Yes, Richard, you're going to the exact right place as well. DCC automation will give you the best experience if you're looking to start into picking up automation. And it gives the best support as well. There's been a couple of times where I've been complete and utterly stumped as to why something's not working. And James has taken half an hour out of his evening and he's logged into his computer to then log into my computer remotely and fix what the issue was. And you can't really ask for more than that. He's really been very, very good. James was on another channel today. I forgot what channel he was on now, but another popular channel. No. I'll be honest with you. You can buy this stuff from anyone and it's all roughly the same price. So just depends what support you want. I mean that genuinely. Yeah, Shadwick, that was it. I was going to say Chandwell and stop myself, you see. That's another good channel, by the way. I like that one. Good night, Scotty Dog. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Yeah, Richard, if there's anything you want to have a look at while we're on the live stream, let me know and I'll point the camera at it. Good night, Ewan. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening. I'll tell you what, Richard. Why don't you come have a look underneath for the wiring? What you're going to need this way. Now you're off of the tripod. This is my DR5000 all lit up like a rainbow. Under there, I've got a LocoNet B plugged in for my booster. LocoNet T plugged in for my network. That's where all the data goes across. Can we have a look at the station with the automatic stop-start? Yeah, sure. You mean the platforms? Or do you mean something else? I'll get the tripod if we're going to look at the platforms. There we are. Now my bay platform, I haven't quite worked out the distances yet, but the rest of it all works fair enough. Yeah, brilliant. You'll notice all the trains go off and slow down nicely. I tried to get them prototypical. Now, I must say the bay platform does work, but that train's been a bit difficult recently, so I parked it up for now. So everything's currently stopped because we're waiting for the Premier train to come across the junction. The DVT's brake system gets caught on the points, so I need to sort that out. Take care, Donegal Dad. Thanks for joining. I promise you'll get a train that actually stops in a minute. There you go, there's the Premier train stopped. I haven't quite got the stopping location right on that yet because I don't have the right decoders set in it yet. My HST stop every 1 in 10 turns. The 350 stops every 1 in 4 goes, on average. And the local trains, the 150s, 156s, all that stop every time, and the pacer. Now you will get trains slow down in the platforms that look like they're going to stop, but what they're actually doing sometimes is waiting for the junction ahead to clear. Just like in the real world that happen as well. Here comes a 150, that will stop. So on this layout, the DR5088RCs detects the voltage change when a loco enters a section. And no, you're alright, New Junction Richard, no problem at all. That's what we're live streaming for. You're asking questions. Where was I? Yeah, my inside rail is cut up into sections. I'll show you underneath. Just for a second to explain what I mean. It's difficult to explain without showing you. So let me go over here. My inner rail, if I can see a if I can actually, I can't see, it's bad, there we go. My inner rail has got plastic fish plates on, and my outer rail has got metal fish plates on, and every block is wired in, and underneath those wires coming through, where's my, they all go through to my DR5088RC there, and you see you've got 1 to 16, they're all the different blocks. Now these are just power, and they transmit the Railcon signal. Inside here, both of those are separated out. The Railcom and the feedback signal go down there, and then this is just powered off of the main bus. That gives far more reliable running than trying to get everything to run down one bus. Doing it that way, otherwise you end up with signals getting like phantom feedback signals, that sort of thing, if it all go down the same thing with our system. I found these to be more reliable because they have the telephone jack cables, and having it all separated out. There you go. A couple of my trains stopped. So it's all done by the track, but certain DCC decoders give additional benefits when onto the Railcom in. Yep, you can. Absolutely. If I go back to the computer screen, this is signals, by the way, I'm talking about. Whoops, daisy, I'm walking into stuff now. Come on, phone, you can do it. Come with me. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got lots of little 4-aspect colour light signals appearing on this diagram. Those you can program to a decoder to 2 outputs, and you wire the 4 lights to the 2 outputs on a DR4018, and it will control the signals completely automatically off of iTrain. No trickery, just off a DCC bus, nice and easy, very simple. So yeah, you can do that. You can even link the system to have actions as well. They call it actions. And what these actions do, so for example, a train goes around a really tight bend. If your train's got DCC sound, it can activate the wheel squeal. Or, if you place speakers underneath the layout, it will activate the speaker instead. You can do that too. You can get it to do tons of anything that you can do with a handheld controller. You can put it into a sequence on iTrain and it will do it. Or if you're any good with Excel, if you know about if functions, it'll pretty much do the same thing as those as well. So if certain conditions are met, then it will trigger this action or that action, like a gates crossing. It will close the gates when a train comes along in a certain block. So it can control servos as well. Hopefully, Richard, you can have a look at it in person one day. Now, I know I'm in Ireland, but I was booked into the last International N-Gauge show for a smaller layout, but I'd like to convince them to have this one. This is much more interesting to watch. Can you manually drive trains easily around the automation? Yes, you can. You can indeed. You can have the whole thing run manually if you want to. You can have it semi-automatic, where you just tell the trains what to do. Or you can have the rest of it automatic and you drive your train manually, your singular train. But you have to follow the signals. And if you don't follow the signals, it will kick off on your set off the train warning, a TWPS system. It's like, so it's actually like driving a real train rather than just running a train round mentally. Of course, you can still do that as well. If you just turn off the trains that are on that specific section of track, then you can run your train around whilst everything else is running. New Junction says, what part of Ireland? So we're actually based as far south as you can go almost, in Tramore, which is in Waterford. It's a few miles down the road from Waterford, not far at all. But my parents live in London, so I do a lot of driving to and from London every now and then. Before COVID. So, and I got a fairly big car. This fits in one car anyway. Hello, the Heritage Line. Thank you for joining us. Ask away as many questions as you want. Want me to point the camera anywhere you want? Just let me know and I'll do it for you. So as you can see so far, I've been standing here maybe 20 minutes. Nothing gone wrong now. Half an hour or so. So it is reliable enough. Be much more reliable if you had a layout that didn't move. This is an exhibition layout, as I say. It's actually 8 4-foot by 2-foot boards. And we're using computer cable connectors, DB9 connectors between the layout boards. So the signal has to travel through those as well. Yeah, you can, the Heritage Line, no problem. You can also, with the routes as well that I have set up, you've just seen the steam train go through. You can set up different train types. So I have 5 different train types and they all have different priorities. The steam is the priority 1. That one trumps everything when it goes through. Priority 2 is my Premier train, so it can get across the junction without waiting. Number 3 are my intercity trains, number 4 are my regionals, and number 5 are my locals. So locals will wait for the regionals, and so on. They'll wait for everything, the locals. The regionals will only wait for the ones above it. And then the intercity will only wait for the other 2 above that. It's like having head codes. Well, it is having head codes pretty much. Oh yeah, and my freight trains are in the very bottom as well. Yes, New Junction, you can indeed do that. Station announcements, you can add them tailored for each specific train as well, going in each direction. So for my, let's see what's coming in now. That Voyager, Super Voyager that's coming in, you can tailor that in this direction to say it's going to London. Tailor it to the other way to say it's going to Holyhead. And if you use, who was it? Someone was doing this. They were using Google Announce, like the voice thing. You can record those, stick them in, and it will activate those on the actions. It's a great bit of software. Unfortunately, on my layout, the thing wouldn't shut up. I'd get fed up of it because I have so many trains running at once. But if you were to run a bit slower, with less trains running, it'd make sense. It would sound real good. And the fact you could have it running off a speaker, if you were taking it to an exhibition, it'd be much, much better than having it come from the locos, because it could be loud enough people could actually hear it. I find the sound decoders in locos N-gauge are too quiet for exhibitions. You can see in the background, it's actually that laptop that's running this as well. My desktop is a satellite unit, and that laptop is operating as the server. I have it set up that way. I can't make any changes to the file off of my desktop, but on the laptop you can. And you can have as many switchboards as you like, I think. It might be 4 switchboards actually, so tell a lie. the heritage line says, Nick, if you have been changing points manually, will the software set the correct route regardlessly, or does it need to know which way the points are facing? So, when the layout originally starts, I've got an idea actually, hang on. So I just hit the pause button there. I'm going to turn it all off and turn it back on. And you're going to hear this, a massive load of points flicking one after the other. It's setting up the points according to where the software thinks they are. So when you start running automation, it knows where everything is from the get-go. And it sets up the route before every train goes as well. But you don't have to have it set up like that. You can have it set up so it only flicks the points that need changing. But I have it so it changes all of them, even if they are set right. There we go. So I've hit the pause button. Everything should stop. And I'm going to turn it off. And then turn it back on again. And then that's your startup sequence. You hear all the points flicking now. Now it does them all in sequence so that you're not overloading the power supply as well, which is clever. And you can set the time period between each flick so that if you have a weaker power supply, it's not going to overload that one, or if you have a stronger one, it can do them quicker. I just hit the continue button. And it's now set all the routes for the trains that are about to pull away. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. You know what, Richard? That's all I'm going to be able to think about now you said that, every time it does that for me. Okay, there goes our new Revolution nuclear train. Here comes, this is an interesting one. See this 150 coming round now? Well, you don't yet, but you will in a second. The Arriva 150. Have I set it up right? Will it wait there? Yeah, it's wait there. This is a terminating service, so what it does, it goes across the points in the platform and then go back the other way. So you can set all that up as well. It's just waiting for a gap in the trains coming the other way so it can get in and change back to go the other way. But I set up loads of little intricacies in the routes to make the operation more interesting but more prototypical at the same time. So this 150 here, just at the bottom of the screen, is going to wait for that one to come in and go before that one goes in and takes the platform. And I guess it's done that because there's nothing else waiting behind it on this one. But on that one I can see there's another one actually coming around behind it, so we'll see whether it gets the route first. Because that the one coming behind the 350 is a regional, it's got a higher priority than this local. This local might actually sit and wait a bit longer. We'll see what iTrain does. If there's a fault in the wiring or a dodgy point motor, does iTrain find it? No, iTrain unfortunately doesn't find it. Your trains do. So Yeah, you do get some smash ups every now and then if your points are not running reliably. Luckily mine are. I installed all of my points with what company? SPC, I think it was, like a bracket that you put down the side of the points to make sure you get them all in perfectly first time. So all my points are fairly free flowing and are very reliable. iTrain will find faults with its own software. It's got a diagnosis button. So if you program something wrong, it will tell you that. Absolutely, but it won't tell you if the physical stuff is incorrect. But usually you'll just know if the physical stuff is incorrect. It won't work from the beginning. And you'd fault find until you got to that anyway. Benefits of Railcon. There's 3 ways you can go about it. Number 1, not have it at all. But then you have to tell the software when you put a train on the track what train it is and what direction it's going. That only takes a few seconds. But if you're like this one and it's an exhibition layout, you don't really want to be doing that every time you set up. The second way of doing it is only have your fiddle yard railcommed. So have those units only in the fiddle yard. That way when you put a train on the track, it registers which one it is. It don't really matter about the rest of the layout in that regards. Number 3 is to do the whole lot with Railcon, which is what I did. And that way I can stand around the front playing with trains as well, taking it off that one, putting it on the next track, and the software knows that I've done that. I haven't got to go back to the computer and tell it. That's the benefits of Railcon. It's half convenience and half laziness, to be honest. But it's worth it, in my eyes, for what I'm doing with it. But if you have a permanent layout at home that doesn't move, with the stock that doesn't come off it, then it probably isn't really worth it. Maybe only just the one unit with it on. Oh yes, it does that as well. Ian is correct. That's something I haven't actually done yet. So yeah, you can write to a specific decoder on the main bus. But this layout has its own dedicated programming track, so I haven't needed to do that, but yeah, you can. It does that as well, yeah, Ian, absolutely. I would say Ian in the chat is the right guy to ask for that one, I'm not sure. They're both programmed to the same thing anyway, so I'd say it wouldn't really matter. Having 2 would be fine, personally, but it might be something that Ian knows that I don't there. So you're running reliably now at last. And the Railcon's all working. Yeah, that's it. I thought so, Ian. So when this layout goes to exhibitions eventually, we'll have those 2 curved monitors. See on that black bit in the corner there where that little monitor is? Just up there. We're going to have them monitors public facing with the whole system on it facing outwards. I think that's quite interesting to see as well, you see. That's the plan. Oh, something's happened. Don't know what happened there. The pacer got lost. No, you have to pop that in yourself, the heritage line. The length of the train, you measure the length of each train and set that up. And measuring the length of each train will help you speed profile the locos as well. You measure the loco and then iTrain run it up and down a certain few blocks, and it will do it at every speed step that you pick, and then it will give you like a curve on a graph, and then it would do that for you. That way iTrain can run the locos a lot more accurately. In fact, doing a speed profile is very it's interesting. You run your loco in and you do that. Once you've done that, you can guarantee it's worn in, broke in. Yes, absolutely. Anyone that wants iTrain, pop over to Bob's channel, Bob Fuller. There's a brilliant series of videos there of what you're getting yourself into. And it's well worth the look. You can have a block as short as you like, but it's recommended to have blocks that are at least the length of your shortest train. Blocks are made up mainly of multiple feedbacks, if you can help it. The more feedbacks you have in a block, the more accurate the software is. Having 2 feedbacks in a block will half the inaccuracies. Having 3 feedbacks will half it again. It gets more and more accurate the more you have. So my platforms have got 3 in each. Now my fiddle yard's so long that I only either have 1 or 2 in each of them. But I didn't need the accuracy because the fiddle yard's so long that I can just cut, say, 10 centimetres off the end. It don't matter if it stops short of that. It's no problem. New Junction says, is it an expensive system to install? Yes, it is. But you can do it over time. if you wire up the layout ready for all this stuff, and then just take the wires down when you're ready for it, you can do it bit by bit. Alexa, stop. Alexa's playing the music again. So start off with your command station, be that a Z21, the big Z21 that is, or the DR5000. The DR5000 is a lot cheaper, but it's more finicky to use, but it does have more interfaces on it, I think. Then you can buy a block detection unit every now and then, install that until you have enough to run the automation. The DR5000 at the moment is going cheap on Amazon for £130 odd, which is an absolute bargain when you look at all the other options available. So if you're looking for one, now's the time to buy one. The block detection units are around about €80, so what's that, 70 odd pounds each for the Railcon. And I'm going to end up with 8 of those on this layout. The Heritage line, yes you could. It would make sense to have it a little bit longer, so that your 66 has space to slow down in that block and stop, rather than just stopping on an instant stop sort of thing. iTrain can work out to stop it earlier before it gets to like slow it down for that block, but it's never going to run very well. I think the DR4088s, the block detection without the Railcon's a fair bit cheaper again, but you get what you pay for, really. They are good, but you don't get your Railcon, and that's a fairly cheap way of getting into it. iTrain comes in 4 different price brackets. I actually explained that tomorrow in a video I made. It's just a very, very crude video tomorrow, so I do apologise, but I do explain which levels to go for and for what reasons. iTrain Lite, if you're doing automation, skip it, doesn't include it. You want to go for the standard, but it's around €200 for that software. But once you have that software, you never have to make a control board for any other layout ever again, because iTrain is your software for every layout you ever make. So there is that. And the same goes for the DR5000. You're going to buy a control unit for every layout you make anyway. That's a cheap enough one. Once you got used to the system, the way it all works, if you do make a new layout, then it's fairly straightforward and fairly quick to make a new control board. You ain't got to buy materials for a physical control board, all that stuff. And you can do what I've done, save it all to your OneDrive. That way, no matter where you are, or if you lose your laptop or whatever, you've always got your files backed up. Let's go have a new view, shall we? We'll have a view down the other end again. The guys were saying they like the view up the other end more than this end, so I can't blame them. Yeah, have a nice. I can't get the tripod out. We're stuck. Let's bring that tripod in a bit. There we go. The guys earlier were saying they like the view from here around the corner. And I'll lower lower you guys down a bit to see it properly. Richard, I don't know if you've seen my layout before, but it's all super elevated on the corners. A lot of effort, but was worth it in the end. Bring you down to train height. You can all be like Rachel again, spotting the trains. Here we go. Thanks, Richard. Ian, that is exactly what I say as well. Every time you switch it on, it's like your own private exhibition. And the same when I go to show at an exhibition myself. I haven't got to tell the I haven't got to tell the exhibition manager. I've got 5 operators coming with me, and you've got to pay their expenses. It's just me on my own. And here comes our steamer. In fact, when I go to exhibitions, I can mill about with the public and talk to them while it does its thing. You're welcome, Richard. So iTrain's actually set up a route there. You can see the Premier train's coming right across the junction. That's come off the fast outer track and it's going right across to the branch. And it stops trains for it to go across. And we'll be putting signals in for this as well. Take care, Richard. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Hi J94, thanks for joining. Ooh, I just turned on the tumble dryer. Oh no, sorry guys, I've got to turn that on. Just realised my stuff for tomorrow's in there. How are you this evening? How are you? So, for those of you that's just joined, this track I just relayed. This is all new again. I've adjusted the elevation on it, the super elevation, to enable my pacers to run over it reliably. Everything else would go over it apart from the pacers, so now the pacers will do it too. Hi Bob, we've been talking about you. Don't worry, it was all good. So with your little Z21, the start, you're going to need some boosters with that, I'd say. If you're looking to control a lot of points with them, or even just a medium-sized layout, you're going to need a booster. It's not very powerful. So I've been told. I'm just repeating what I've heard. Here goes our nuclear train. So Bob, we were just explaining about iTrain and what you can do with it. I pointed a few people to your channel, and so I was pointed them to your channel as well. That's a clever idea. The heritage van, I didn't think of that. Mine are all powered off the bus, so... Well, some are powered off a bus and some are powered off a booster. Chelmsford Junction, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining. We're all on the automation tonight. No problems tonight, Chelmsford. I solved the issue where we were getting iTrain doing the runaways. It's because I had too much information going through the LocoNet. So I've reduced the amount of information going through the LocoNet.
For DJ86F4U.
And now we're running just fine. Hornby Magazine just subscribed. I feel famous. Thank you very much. Wow. Wow, I really appreciate that. That's brilliant. Yes, the Heritage Line. You can use the Z21 app with the DR5000, no problem. The way the DR5000 is explained, it's like a chameleon is what I hear people say. It's got lots and lots of different interfaces, and we work with most manufacturers' DCC bits. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it. Copying back in. I appreciate the sub as well, especially from Hornby Magazine. That means a lot. Yes, the Z21 I've heard is actually more reliable as well, but it's got the price to go with it. Depends what you get along with, really. The DR5000 sometimes can be a bit of a dark art. Thank you. Take care. See you, Richard. No pressure. Hornby's watching my progress. Here we go. So this pacer coming along, for those of you who just joined, is the reason I relayed the track it's currently going over. Because it's only got 4 wheels on the wheelbase, it used to rock on the transition between the super elevation and the flat piece of track, so I had to make it a little bit more gentle around that corner. On the transition section I extended it a little bit, but now it's working fine. Chelmsford, yeah, I'd love that. That's probably my ultimate goal, to be fair, to go show at Worley. One day. Yeah, Chelmsford. They used to fall off the track, literally fell off. Didn't derail, just fell off, fell over sideways. Yes, the heritage line. Probably a good idea, actually. So I'd suggest wiring the layout. I actually can't remember where you are with your layout. If you can wire your track now, do it now already, because it would be an absolute pain in the backside to wire for after you've laid the track. Yeah, that's my solenoids. See, the thing is with the R5000, I can connect any manufacturer's hardware to it. It's got the X-Bus on it, it's got the Loconet and all the different stuff on it, all the different plugs on the top. So if I want, I can plug in like the Roco multi-mouse, and then I can, if someone else fancies plugging in a Digitrack system, whilst I have that plugged in, you can do that. Chelmsford Junk said, would it work with DCC Concepts slow action point motors? Yes and no. It will work, but not with Railcon. The point motors from DCC Concepts are the only point motor I know of that interferes with the Railcon signal. And I was speaking with someone that knows their stuff the other day about this, and it just ends up with loads of random numbers coming back over the Railcon with their Cobalt slow point decoders. But it'll work on everything else. There's a new system that's just come out. Well, I say just come out, been out for maybe a year or so, 2 years, from an Eastern European manufacturer. I can't remember who it was, but they look quite promising. The motors are a lot smaller, so if you're building a layout that hasn't got much space underneath, or as a transportable layout, whatever, then they're probably a better way to go. MTB, that's it. Thanks, Ian. Yeah, I've gone for the solenoids because it's what I knew. And I know how to wire, I knew what to do with those, I had all the mounting brackets already. And I had a lot of the motors already, so I went with it. But I'll be honest with you, if I could have gone for the slow action motors with the decoders built in, I probably would have done that. That's an easier way for wiring, a lot easier way to wire than what I have here. So I have to wire in additional units to controller points now. Saying that, I do like the sound of the solenoids. I'm probably the only one that does. I find them quite satisfying. Chelmsford. You know what? If you live near an airport, probably I can. I fly over a lot for different exhibitions throughout the year when we can fly again. So there is a chance of that. I'd like to make a video someone else's layout as well. Start featuring other layouts when we can go around. Yeah, I'll be popping by yours then. I don't know what it is exactly what they don't work with. I know they mess with the Railcon. I was getting my Railcon sorted the other day and I was talking to DCC Train Automation and they've been having arguments about it. Like, they just mess up the Railcon, so I've heard. Yeah, Bob uses the MTB MP5 point motors. I think they're probably the ones to go for. Ian, I'd say get in contact with DCC Train Automation then. Give them the settings you're using. So it may be that there's a strange set of settings that work with them. Yeah, let me know when we can fly again, I'll pop over. Flights from here are only a tenner. So I don't exactly mind that, and I enjoy going out on the train and going on a plane, so I can make a video about that too. Here comes our Steam special again. Once we're allowed to travel again, honestly, give me a shout and I'll be over. Chelmsford Junction, you're right. A king or a castle, yeah. See, the reason I have that is because that 4MT there, I grew up in East London on the LTS line. Paul, hello, welcome to the chat. Yeah, I did get that sorted. I got the old traction tyres on the 5MT, but now my city of Birmingham has lost the traction tyre, so they're all getting to that age where they're perishing. So I now need to order some traction tyres for that one. Very, very fiddly job. Chelmsford Junction, no. In fact, my Black 5 was absolutely useless without them. Not Black, I couldn't put a Black 5, sorry, 5MT was useless without them. That 4MT doesn't have any though, but that seems to do quite well. That's fine, but it is quite heavy. Here comes our nuclear train. Thanks Mark, I appreciate it. Thank you. Chelmsford Junction says, out of my 14 trains, only one has traction tyres. Out of all of mine as well, it's only the 2 sets of steamers that do. Oh, that's a good idea actually, I never thought of that. I could run ECS moves, you're right. Chelmsford Junction says, that's what I'm doing at the moment, I'm building up rolling stock. And my layout will have more steam but GWR locos. That'd be nice, that will. I'm buying a lot of dapole though. I don't know if anyone had any experience with the dapole ones where they're a tender motor but then loco driven. They've got like the little rod between them. You have to let me know how they run because I've been very sceptical of buying one so far. Yeah, Lima. I used to love the Lima stuff. I had the HSTs and everything back when I was a kid. Oh, here comes our Premier train across the junction. Yes. You see, I've started to go the other way now. I'm buying more stock than I have locos. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, Mark, if you haven't been here before, this is a completely automated layout. We're all watching as spectators today. Yeah, I used to love the Lima. I love the prices of them too, much better. Ah, the Heritage line. That's interesting, and that's a very small loco as well, that school class. So the Heritage line says it pulls better than some of the Farish, which is interesting. The Heritage line says, Nick, you need the stock for that size layout. Actually, you'll be surprised, I'm actually managing to fill up the fiddle yard every now and then now. It's taken me some time, but I finally got there. It's actually better to have the fiddle yard slightly emptier to allow for the automation to work better, otherwise we're just trying to shuffle trains around. It's not as fun. J94 says, oh actually Chelmsford Junction says before that, what made you go for N-gauge apart from the space? What made me go for N-gauge is I'd already built a small layout in N-gauge, but the reason for that is I live in an apartment and I really wanted a big mainline layout, 4-track mainline, and I couldn't do that in Double O, but I could in N, so I went for N. I could have got something like maybe a small twin track line in Double O on this, but I wouldn't have got the sweeping curves, I wouldn't have got the elevation, super elevation, I wouldn't have got the speeds that I could run at, I wouldn't have been able to run the variety of rolling stock, and it wouldn't be that much of an interesting layout compared to this one, so I went for N. If I had the space, on the other hand, yeah, I'd have gone for Double O, but then it would have needed to have been 4 times the size of this, and hardly anyone has that space, and I would have had to have hired a van to take it to any exhibitions. J94 said, is the special train with the Class 67 a new train you bought? If so, looks nice. It is indeed. That's my most recent purchase. I got that second hand off of Facebook Marketplace, as the last time they made those was in 2012. I have ordered some new decoders for that one. You may have noticed the body shell on the front, on the loco, is slightly up in the air at the back, because the decoder is pushing it up in the air. On the DVT there's supposed to be a decoder in there, but I just took the blanking plate out so I could run it on DCC without damaging it. But I also need a really small decoder to go in the back as well. It's tiny space, so I've ordered some lens ones which are on their way. Paul said Nick needs to sort out block protection in the field yard. I have block protection in the field yard. The Heritage Line says, Nick, have you ever fancied anything unusual like NMT or the Royal train? Well, my unusual stock that I have for this layout is that nuclear train that you see running around. I do fancy the NMT. The Royal train, not so much. I don't know why, but it just doesn't do it for me. That one, and you see it so rarely that I don't know, I just couldn't justify it with the limited field yard I got. I got 3 lanes per track, so having a Royal train on one of them, I don't know, it's just, I couldn't justify it. NMT I could. Mark says, brilliant. Just bought my first automated SS2A end-to-end block unit that comes without a power lead or capacitors. Brilliant, it's a good start into it. J94 says, awesome set, looks nice. Thank you. I agree. No, I must admit that is my favourite set right now. And I think I was very lucky to see it, because I've only ever seen them second hand maybe once a year, if that. So I snapped that up. I did a bit of research into the lad that was selling it, what he was actually selling, because he didn't have it advertised, and I found out he had one and I took it. Chelmsford Junction, I must have the most nicest missus that lets me take up a 20-foot by 10-foot front room for a complete tail chaser. Wow, that's amazing. You are incredibly lucky. J94 says he saw a DVT for the first time back in 2018. I used to work on the Great Anglia network, so I used to see them every day. But it's interesting to see them in other liveries in different locations, so the Premier train is a great thing to have for me. Heritage Line agrees with me. Chelmsford is very lucky. Wow, Paul, that's amazing. Your first layout was 30 foot by 15 foot. It's your man cave, eh? Chelmsford says. Dolby Pro Logic surround sound as well. I know where I'm going when I'm watching a film. Mark says, I'm obviously a bit older. My layout is 1975 base. What era is mine? Modern image between 2010 and today. J94 says, I saw it near Birmingham on the way to a certain heritage line. So I take it you saw the Pretender Nino set. Oh, a DVT with a Class 68 at the back pushing. That's interesting. I don't know what that would be. Must have been a DRS liveried one then, or liveried set. I do miss going to the heritage lines. There's none over here hardly. I do enjoy that Severn Valley Railway. That's a very good one. I liked the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, Minehead one, the West Somerset one. That Severn Valley was great. Bluebell was okay. I've heard the others, I'll be honest. There's some interesting stuff at the Bluebell though. What else did I like? Yeah, they're probably my favourites. The Rumley Heights and Dymchurch Railway, that was a great little one. I love the quirk of that. Chelmsford, if I could win the lottery and buy a farm, I'd have a 7¼ inch gauge. And I'd open it up. I'd have a big old tourist attraction with it. Be great fun. Hauling real passengers. Oh, actually, no, I tell you my favourite railway is the Central one. I like the Central one because they have their modelling event every year. And that's brilliant, that's a really, really good exhibition. Can't ask for more really. The ticket's not that expensive considering you get a whole day on the steam engines and then an exhibition with it. Charleswood says that's being plastic. I used to run 7¼ inch gauge at a light railway at one of the local parks in London. That was brilliant. Mark says modern image will cost you, is difficult because it will cost you a fortune, he says. It does, but I'm happy doing it. I'm always poor trying to save up for the most recent release. Soup dinners, you know. Heritage Line says North Yorkshire Moors Railways is local. You are very, very lucky. Chelmsford says, which park? Barking Park Light Railway. Take care, Ian. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you popping in. Oh wow, Chelmsford. That's brilliant. Yeah, I used to operate the trains there about 8, 9 years ago now. I used to be a driver there. Mark Wilson, all that clicking, that's the points changing. Is there, Chelmsford? I know there's one in Brentwood that's very interesting. Some manor house with a big garden. The Bernards Railway, I think it is. No, the Barking Park Light Railway is still going, but the one in Rumford would be a new one, unless it's the same people opening up another one as well. What loco did I drive? Oh, it's only a 7 1/4 inch gauge. A Ruston replica, a blue petrol Ruston replica, so it's a green one and a blue one. A little class 20 model that I used to drive around up there. What else? I think it might have been green actually. That was the 3 they had there when I was there, with the little red carriages. Oh, Chelmsford Junction. I'll have a look at that as soon as I'm off the stream. Yeah, I used to love running those trains. It was brilliant. And I used to visit the one across the river as well, down in Swanley New Barn. And they let me drive some of their petrol hydraulic ones. So they had like class 47s and things going round. That was a great bit of fun driving them. Lodge Farm Park Miniature Railway. I'll be looking that up straight after the stream to see what's going on there. That'd be interesting. I've been living abroad, I say abroad, it's only Ireland. So living as an expat for 5-6 years now. So if there's anything that's happened between now and then, I've missed it. There we go, that was our 67 set across the junction again. I need to get some more hunt couplings for that set. I ran out of hunt couplings, I need to get the regular length ones. Oh yeah, I used to catch that 174 when I lived in that area. Bob, take care, and I will think of a few suggestions what I would like to see. There's lots and lots of questions I have about iTrain. Maybe you can help me. The KDs are great, but with super elevation, they tend to come undone on this layout. Oh wow, yeah, Dagenham Heathway. I know that well. I've been there a few times, and in the shopping arcade that's down the hill on the left. I've been in there a few times as well. Very small world. Paul said he used to live in Tottenham when he worked on the ambulance. I used to sell tickets on board the Stansted Express that used to stop at Tottenham. And some of our turns used to have us standing on Tottenham Hale platforms. And we'd sell tickets on Tottenham Hale for the Express. So I'd done that. That was good. Chelmswood said he used to be a member of the Erith Model Railway Society. I used to be a member of the Barking and District Model Railway Society. Ha. BDMRS. Yeah, I remember Colin. Oh wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago, that was. I used to go to Romeo Models every other weekend as a child and just look at the models and say what I'd like and then save up for it. I know them guys, and I know the people from Plus Daughters as well. Plus Daughters, I used to know them when the wife was around still. God bless her. I remember them in their Upminster shop sitting together. All the time you'd go in, they're both in there. That's a shame that is, Chelmswood. They're good people. Take care, Guy94. Thanks for joining. Take care. Bye. Yes, it is the only model shop in that area now. Leytonstone one shut down the engine shed. Plus Daughters moved out to South Essex, sorry, Tilbury area. And the only other closest one now is the one in Chelmsford. I lived in Chelmsford for a while as well, and that used to be my local one. John Dutfield's. That's a very good shop actually, John Dutfield's, if anyone's in the local area there. Lots and lots of hidden stuff in there that's very interesting, you wouldn't get hold of anywhere else. Yeah. Every time I go back to visit friends or family, I must have a pop in there every time. Mark says, do you prefer running O? I have no idea, I don't have any O gauge. I have got some G gauge in my parents' garden. I prefer this though. I've got some double O gauge in my parents' garden as well. There is a video on my channel about that, the double O in my parents' garden. But not a very good one. It's made up of footage that I took before the all the shutdowns happened. That was just private footage for myself. So I need to go back after all these shutdowns, go back and reshoot that. What took me to the Emerald Isle? Personally, it's a lot cheaper to live here, and the wages are very similar. If I'm being absolutely honest with you, it's far more laid back. People are incredibly friendly here. That's probably my main reasons for coming over. I mean, I have Irish ancestry, but I don't know any of them. So it wasn't for that.
Playing from laptop for DJ86F4U.
Alexa's telling me stuff again. No,
I don't know that one.
I used to have a sailboat over here as well, and I used to go sailing. It's very good for the outdoor life here. Not very good for railway modelling though. I have to mail order everything in, but other than that, it's okay. In that case, we're going to go to the fiddle yard. Let's go. No, my sailing wasn't expensive. I had a little sailing dinghy, what they call it, a mirror dinghy. And it's just about right for single person sailing. Yeah, never get lonely with Alexa. She never shut up. It's like the wife you never knew you had. There you go, I can wind you all up. There you guys go. Oh, it's overrun. I don't know why it does that. It overruns every now and then. I ain't quite figured out why. Yeah, that boat ride in bad weather can be a bit difficult. Let's say difficult is the word. Four hours on a boat stuck on it. Ugh. In bad weather. Saying that, I went to France last year on a boat from Ireland. That was 16 hours. See, look, Paul, it does stop where it's supposed to most of the time there. Every now and then it goes over and I have no idea why. I think it might be the decoders I'm using. So that's only got a cheapo Lay's TCC decoder. They're about £8 each. I'm looking to replace them all with Zimro ones in the future. They run a lot more reliably. If it's anything like their other decoders, I wouldn't go near them. Chelmsford. My original decoders were DCC Concept Zen decoders, and a lot of them blew. Even more than my cheapo Lays ones. I'll say give it time. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you sticking around for so long actually. Take care and I'll see you later. I have more block detection units coming actually. So we'll be actually having each board will have its own block detection system rather than wiring between the baseboards. Yes, Chelmsford Junction, they're expensive when you have to do that. My Dapol Voyager, the loud one that you hear going around, not the one you can see close, but the further one that's just leaving, that's got 3 decoders in it. So it's £60 worth of decoders just to get that one to go. They did do a 00 version. I have that at my parents' place. I gave my father all of my 00 stuff. Sorry. Yeah, sound fitting and ouch. Ouch indeed. I'd need a mortgage. I have got a sound fitted set on order. I've got the Revolution Trains 321 is going to be sound fitted. And I want to get a few sound Pendolinos if they announce those as well. You may have looked at my platforms and realised they're quite long. They're designed for the Pendolino. The 11 car Pendolino, so hopefully when they release that I'll get one or two and they'll fit just snugly into those long platforms that I have. There goes our steamer. Bit of dirt on the track. I need one of those CMX track cleaners as well. No, they are lovely, those Pendolinos. I definitely want to get an 11 car though. Exactly. The price shot up. You should see all the Great Western stuff. That's really shot up. Especially 00. Yeah, it's all getting far too expensive recently. I'd agree. I think eventually we're going to price ourselves out of it. Yeah, no, I agree. It is getting a bit expensive, like you say. Oh, that's not good, is it? We've had a Hatfield. That 70 keeps overshooting. I think it might need a track cleaning or reprogramming. The speed profile, that is. To be fair now, that's better than my operating. We've only had the one accident so far, or big accident. If it had been me operating, we'd have had a 4 or 5 by now. There. More like an Ealing, yeah. Chelmsford says, how long has it taken to get the layout up to where it is now? Approximately 9 months to get this far. Originally, the layout progressed incredibly quickly. The baseballs were done in a day. The legs were done in the same day. The track was laid within the first month. And the scenics have all been coming along since then. And then the I-train refining it, I've been doing really slowly. Because I wasn't good at it at first. But I'm much better now. I'm actually not good with software. Yeah. Oh no, it's not nice at all. Yes, Chelmsford, the computer will keep going. Unless it shorts the track, it'll just keep going. You watch, the next time it comes round, hopefully it will stop in the right place. So here it goes, we'll see where it stops on the next loop. Yeah. Drum roll, please. You'll see it in a second. Running at speed, I can hear it. Right, it's on that loop at the end, on that curve. Here it comes. Done it again. Could be dirty track and we're not getting the things through. Not getting the signal through to it, so the DCC signal. I ain't got anything to clean it with right now, so this will have to do. I just wash my hands later. Oopsie daisy. We'll try it now, see if that's helped it. When it goes. Yeah, it was nasty. Cooking oil next to it, yeah, lovely. Yeah, it could be, to be fair. I'll set that train off and see what it does. So we ain't got to wait for it, I can click for it to go, you see. See what it does when it gets back. Yeah. I need to get a railhead treatment train. Bedtime soon, I think. We'll just see where this train comes in at now. Have we rectified the issue? Here it comes. Or will it overshoot again? Coming in at speed. But it is slowing down this time. I do believe we've found our issue. But it's still going. Yeah, it stopped exactly where it's supposed to. So, the dirt on the track was stopping the DCC signal from reaching the loco, and it just ploughed on. I am saving up one of those CMX track cleaners. The little wagons you can get. I think they're a brilliant idea because you can put isopropyl alcohol in them. And that really cleans the track. Oh, yeah. You'll need your sleep for that one, Chelmsford. That M1 is an absolute pig to drive down. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. In fact, I'm going to call it there myself this evening, as I have to get up tomorrow to do some bits and bobs, so I'll let you all just chat to each other for a moment. We all say our goodbyes. That's it. Good night, everybody. I hope you've all enjoyed the stream. Hit that like button on your way out. And if you're new, hit the subscribe. Take care, or good evening, goodbye.